Welcome to the Friday Night Chat. I'm your host, Redneck National Capitalist. Asa was not able to make it tonight due to technological differences. This is an open panel chat show. Hopefully, you can join us. The description should be in the link, and hopefully, the link works. Google Hangouts has had some problems with it. If it doesn't work, then somebody else will post a better one in the chat, I'm sure. Important update, our main channel got a content strike against it for the controversial rape camp video. I think rape being in the title of the name led them to list it for review, and they decided that it was evidently too controversial to talk about hypothetical rape camps in a hypothetical future fascist state. So we're going to be able to live stream here. Hopefully it doesn't get a content strike, in which case we'll make a new video, and we might end up like Tommy Sotomayor pretty soon. So we're doing the 1433 subscriber giveaway. So please sub to this channel for this show and subscribe to the main channel for all our content. We will be posting these live streams once they're completed on our main channel, so you'll still be able to listen to it there if you'd like. I'm going to go into the panelists now. Nine, not an argument. What's up, man?
Oh, not too much. Just the usual. We must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children.
For sure. Celtic Master Race.
Not much, man. Just hanging out.
The infamous Iron Man. Any thoughts? He's away from keyboard. Sharpman, what's up, Goy?
I just want to tell everybody that Ariana Grande, whatever the fucking name is, she's white. Okay, it's like she's not a mulatto. Just look at a picture before she got famous.
Well, I've been thinking about going and getting some tickets, but I heard, you have to give an arm and a leg to get in. So,
Yeah, probably.
What's up, Zach?
Oh, not much. Just chilling.
Just chilling?
Like a villain.
For show. So let's get it popping. All right. So first thing on everybody's mind, of course, is the Comey hearings. James Comey, just for those who are not aware, I have a list of some things that came to light. James Comey admitted to leaking to the New York Times the discussion that he had with the president, where he had a memo that he did not reveal to the state that he kept to himself. This is potentially illegal, and that's something that he's going to have to answer to in the future. He had, in fact, informed the president that he was not under investigation. We know that Donald Trump was not under investigation at the time. Flynn was let go for misleading the vice president, not breaking the law. This has been a narrative that they were trying to push, and it appears that that was false. It seems that Donald Trump did not break the law. Their attempt to oust him over lies has not worked, and I do not think that it will ever work. What are you guys' opinions?
Yeah, I mean, it's been, relentless media, against Trump, and it keeps coming about that they're misleading the public, they're lying about him, they're taking these stories and these narrating them. What was also revealed in the Flynn hearing was that did talk to Loretta Lynch and have her basically obstruct justice and put holds or bar the Clinton investigation side of things. So not only were they lying about or overblowing Trump's issues, they were covering up for the Clintons. So the media is very clearly intentionally misleading the public.
Really, I mean, it all comes down to it's just total propaganda, but they're not basing their propaganda on things that can tangibly be proven to be true. they're basing it all on falsehoods. And the problem with that is that unless they have complete and utter domination, like Soviet style, over the legal system, which granted they have influence for sure, but unless they have that total like control over the state apparatus, they're not going to be able to oust the president over falsehoods. And it really comes back to when I'm trying to create propaganda, I'm trying to spread a message. I feel like I'm trying to spread the truth, and I try to make sure that there's truth behind what I'm saying so that I'm not just feeding one falsehood after the other. And it really shows that, like, the mainstream media, the way they operate is as if they have total domination over the way people get information. They're assuming that nobody will be able to find the truth. And it really speaks to their Soviet style of thinking.
Right. They're still living in the past in a lot of ways, where they assume they hold a monopoly on the information, which they clearly don't.
Well, and a good metric to know if you're a stupid motherfucker is if you took yesterday off of work to find out you've been watching fake news for the last 6 months.
Oh, come on. What do you mean took the day off of work? These people don't have jobs. I'm just kidding.
Well,
Some of them might.
You see it everywhere. Just this Trump is the next Nixon. Trump is the next Nixon. I mean, to me, it's crazy because it's such a out there conspiracy theory, and these people would condemn some of the stuff we say as like conspiratorial, right? But well, if the president tried to hide the investigation, and then if Flynn was, and then if these, if 20 things are true, then the president's going to be impeached for breaking the law and colluding with Russia. It's an absolutely out there conspiracy that anyone that has looked into any aspect of it can tell is a lie. And I think that sort of speaks for the weakness of their narratives. The weakness of the sort of mainstream narrative is that if you understand biology, you can prove it wrong. If you understand just history, you can prove it wrong. If you understand just basic truths about what's going on in the news, you can see that it's false. So it's just layer on layer of ignorance and falsehoods that add up, and it's easy to topple it simply by telling the truth.
Well, a
Well,
problem
it's
with people who would just assert something to you, right, is that like anyone can assert anything. So like unless they've got anything to back it up, and this is the same with conspiracy theories, like in the classic sense, unless they've got some kind of proof that can be analyzed, right? Fucking, they've got nothing, right? Because anyone can assert anything anytime.
Certainly. I just, has it always, I know that their main narratives are lies. It just strikes me that this one is particularly ridiculous and forced, and it's just poorly thought out. It seems like in the past, like with the Iraq War stuff and things in the past, that they've been a lot more careful and really thought it through. This seemed to have been Trump colluded with the Russians. It was just really poorly thought out, and they took it to its, the ends of the earth, if you will.
Did you guys see Putin's interview with Megyn Kelly about this? It was actually really fucking hilarious. She was asking him questions, basically, how do you explain the ambassador talking with Jared Kushner and this and that, and he just blows up like, I can't believe that you've made such noise over nothing. He actually admired them. He's like, damn, it's impressive, you guys' ability to drum up this rabble rouse over fucking nothing. It's pretty funny.
That's interesting considering his history,
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, him having been a KGB agent, he's, well aware.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Yeah, if you can impress a former KGB agent on your ability to control the masses, they're doing something right.
And I mean, like I mean, when you base your propaganda on things that are not true, it's not going to hold up. It will work for a while. Um, but yeah, if your worldview or your propaganda or whatever you're trying to do is not based in fact, it will eventually fail. It's going to fall. The truth, it's too costly to hide the truth or to try to convince everyone against it. And surely
Well,
we don't.
it's really cheap. This has always been day one. It's really cheap to fabricate lies, to like mass sale lies that you don't have to put any effort into. You can just make it up on the fly. But it takes a lot of effort to try to spread the truth, right? And that's always been the problem, especially with mass information, is fighting, effective, confluent information.
Yeah, I mean, like people will say this, at fucking, the lie gets around the world before the truth gets a chance to put its sneakers on. I mean, that's fucking, an old saying. But it's like that, if you take 9/11, I mean, maybe 9/11 was planned by fucking George Bush, right? But unless you've got something fucking to support that, besides, oh, this is a little weird, you really got to fucking go more into it. And it takes, every time someone asserts something, it takes fucking a long time to fucking knock it down, right? So to say, oh no, well that's not explosives in the building, that's not the way it would fall if it was explosives or whatever. Got to go into all this engineering shit, all that kind of stuff, right? And they'll go, oh no, it just looks like that. To the naked, to my untrained, unprofessional fucking naked eye, suddenly I'm an expert on building demolition or something, right? And it's kind of like, well, no, it could fall like that, and it's fucking gets, you get these people, they're just obnoxious, right? Like when they're just throwing out all this shit. And it's kind of like if someone came up along and had some fucking real evidence of 9/11 being orchestrated by George Bush or fucking a demolition or something like that, that would be very fucking interesting, I wouldn't want to fucking deny it. I would I won't even deny that things seem weird about fucking 9/11. But there's usually those kind of coincidences when something fucking happens, right? So, there can be an inconclusive situation, and that's what people don't sort of realize. So if someone gives you assert something, and you can't see any valid evidence for it, I just don't fucking know.
Right.
It's not something I can pursue.
Well, I mean, you just look at it from an investigative sort of law enforcement side of things. So there's many crimes that go, unprosecuted because there just isn't sufficient evidence. They know the crime, they know that, the person's dead or whatever the crime is has been committed, but there just isn't evidence really leading in any direction. So if somebody spins a narrative, it's easy to latch on to that.
Well, it seems like strategy, at least for now, ever since the primaries, even, there's been this big spin as fast as they can with the Trump thing to try to drum up, hit hard and fast with as many fucking, as much bullshit as possible and just hope something will stick, right? But, they're already spinning this wheel so fast that if they start slowing down, based on their own trajectory, they'll maybe start looking good in the popular eye. So I think the way that the media machine is going, they almost have to continually promulgate bullshit, right? Otherwise, they'll lose the attention of the people. Because right now, all these normies or lefties or whatever that follow the media's portrayal is basically they think in their head, well, this guy is a terrible human being, right? And he's a bad businessman. What's the thing? He peed on a prostitute in Russia. He grabs women by the pussy, all this shit. He is literally Hitler, right? And so it's when is it gonna strike? When is the one thing gonna get him, right? And so they're sitting there as well as the media, just hoping something is gonna hit and change things.
Right, they're flinging shit on the wall and hoping some of it sticks.
And they've already done their credibility, with the Hillary illness thing, and fucking they got no fucking cred. And it's just this big lie technique. Actually, there's a funny story related to this. Does anyone hear about Kurt Eichenwald this week? Like, he had a little misadventure.
Yeah, I watched that video with who's the guy on that took
Medica?
Who's the guy that took over O'Reilly's spot?
Oh, right. I don't know. Is that
anyways, yeah. I saw the video. Go ahead.
All right, because I just saw the first thing I saw it was Mr. Medica did a video, and he's playing like the audio track for it is a kid getting busted looking at porn on the internet, and he's trying to convince his mother that I like got a virus and my pants slipped off and fucking all this kind of shit, right? So it's just fucking like, you know, this kind of a thing with asserting something, right? So like for people who don't know, Kurt Eichenwald, he abused or whatever. This is a guy that someone sent a fucking flashing gift to on purpose to give him a fucking seizure, and then he sued them and all this kind of shit. So he's in the news a while back. So he's a writer, and so this week he said he was getting fucking hate online, this kind of shit. I think was the reason, and he posts a photograph of his screen is in the background, and you know, 4chan and the fucking hive mind on the internet fucking is pretty good at this sort of thing. They notice that one of the tabs that's open on his computer is fucking like some kind of cartoon porn, like
anime.
What's the Japanese cartoon porn?
Anime porn.
Yeah. So he fucking
hentai. Come on, guys, hentai.
He said he makes up this bullshit cock and bull story that the reason that's open is because he was showing him and his kids were trying to convince his wife that tentacle porn exists, right?
Yes, he was like, "Oh, there's this tentacle porn on the internet, and I'm gonna have to show you. Come on, honey. Even the kids know about the tentacle porn. Come on."
Yeah, which was really funny because they made hash out of that. Apparently, these kids are fucking adult or something. But it's just funny to say, "Oh no, I was trying to show my kids, my wife. Me and my kids were trying to show my wife that tentacle porn exists," which is just fucking hilarious. You can make so much hash out of that, right? But like, this is like the excuse is worse than the fucking the original misstep, right?
Yeah,
so like, okay, the guy was
the truth. It makes it even more funny, right? Like it's more ridiculous.
It's a version of the voodoo shark, which is a name given to like a trope based on Jaws, right? The original Jaws movie, the guy gets attacked by a shark. And in the sequel, the shark comes after his family. And you kind of think, well, how does a fucking shark know who this guy's family is to specifically target them, right? So, like, in the sequel, they make up some bullshit about it's got a voodoo curse on it, right? And there's a guy named SF Debris. He's like SF Debris, like a reviewer of, TV series and science fiction stuff. And he called, so he created this idea that there's this thing called a voodoo shark, where the explanation is worse than the original fucking problem in the movie, right? Because that's even stupider. That who's going to put a voodoo curse on a shark to fucking make it attack someone's family? It's just fucking ridiculous, right? So you made the problem even worse. So you made the plot hole bigger, right? So this is a kind of thing. And then when it comes to conspiracy theories, this is kind of your problem too, like you actually can inadvertently create a whole lot of fucking problems. And the explanation is less credible than the fucking original story that you're trying to refute, right?
Yeah. Mike Eichenwald certainly is just the most stereotypical goofball Jew you've ever seen. And like at one point, I believe he was like under investigation for like looking at child porn and stuff because
of course
he was doing like some article about it, right? And Yeah, of course he does that. So he looks at it at home where you're not supposed to do that, and then got off of it because he was actually writing some article about it. But
It was just for research, Goy. Come on.
yeah,
Yeah.
If you're a pedo and a journalist, like what better cover to look at that type of shit than, oh, I'm just doing an article on it.
Shouldn't he still go to jail for that?
I
Well,
don't
it's,
believe
it's
so.
possession, right? It's like wouldn't it be
that's
like
still-
a
that's
possession
still the
stolen
same
property
problem.
kind of? Yeah.
Is there actual loophole for that? Because that's bullshit. They should fucking go to jail for that
There's
shit.
Lauren Southern, I believe, did a video on it, but yeah, there was people talking about that. Yeah, but he was actually supposedly like he was actually like writing an article about it though too.
Yeah, but he could have a half-written article on his computer just for cover, you know.
Well,
like,
in the way, like one of his first scoops was, yeah, he like, yeah, supposedly also at one point he like paid this like child porn star guy like $2,000 for some interview or something,
for something.
and well, the dude at the time was older. I don't know, he just has this weird thing where he writes articles about that kind of stuff.
Maybe he paid him for fucking tips and tricks or something.
But yeah, so like, but you know, it's funny that yeah, he gets in trouble for that kind of stuff, and he's always making this big spectacle. Like I'm gonna sue you, I'm gonna go after this guy. He's just the most stereotypical.
I'm gonna sue you.
Yeah, I'm gonna sue you. I'm gonna write these articles. I'm gonna do, and he's just always getting in trouble. Always like coming up with ridiculous, like, well, you see, what I actually was doing was trying to show my wife the tentacle porn. Like, just what kind of person does that happen in their life? It's just an interesting observation. That
Well, it's possible, but like even if it's true, like I wouldn't fucking use that. I wouldn't use the excuse. I'd just shut the fuck up or something, right? Like you know, if my mother fucking came in here and she was like, "I told you to stop talking to those people on the internet" or some fucking shit like that, and I accidentally left the microphone on and was like, "Mom, I told you to call me Iron Man," you know, and fucking like I would just. I wouldn't go, "Oh no, that was a skit," and fucking all. I just pretend that, like, you know, I just wouldn't talk about it or something. That'd be the best response, right? Because people are just going to take the piss out of you, right?
Right.
I'm really worried about that happening. I better put the microphone on mute when I'm talking.
God, that's like my worst nightmare.
And
Well, like, you know, back to like the Comey thing. It's funny to me that they hype it up. They're gonna oust Trump as being illegal and having done illegal action, that is, and having put pressure on it. And then you find out that like it was actually Democrats putting pressure during the election to not call the Hillary Clinton investigation an investigation. You find that he's keeping memos of the conversations with the president. You know, kind of sketchy, not really officially, not doing it through official channels and stuff, just having it in case, you know. I decided to leak it because the president might have had a recording of our conversation. So I had to, you know, just, you find out that Comey and the Democrats in this case are far more sketchy than the president saying, hey, you know, don't fuck me over, but not ordering it. And it kind of comes down to, if you take their standard for conduct, right? Anyone in the government, if anyone higher than them asks them to do something, they can take it as an order because it might affect their career or affect them in some way. So nobody higher than you, you know, in a higher rank than you, can ask you to do something without it being a direct order. You know, like nobody has responsibility for their actions, basically, if you take it.
Yeah, you know, I had to go over to Bill Cosby's house to talk to him personally, you know, on the fucking weekend at fucking 8 p.m., fucking over wine because, you know, I thought it'd help my career, you know, and I can't say no to him because he's a big name in the fucking the production or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't say no to that. I couldn't say, no, I'll meet you for brunch or something.
Well, in this case, you know, he did, though. He did say no. He did refuse it. But this is somehow grounds that Trump was shutting down an investigation. And, it, you know, you could take that standard, right? You could take that standard of conduct, but you're going to not be able to run the government once you do that. Because then anyone higher than you, anything they say has to be in order.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, it just creates logical problems when they try to assert this stuff. It's kind of like, it's like with the Hillary thing, right? With the fucking her illness, right? Like, when it comes up against reality, it fucking causes more problems for her than it originally would have, right? If, say, she had fucking lung cancer or something, she said, "Yeah, I got fucking lung cancer." Okay, you're gonna last more than 4 years, no problem, right? It's not such a big deal, right? But if she says, "Oh no, I had pneumonia," oh, why you talking to that fucking kid then? If you got fucking pneumonia, right? Like, why you falling down, fucking, all this kind of shit, right? Oh, why did you fucking lie about it?
Right. Why?
And so, like, when
your glass.
When reality comes along and fucking kicks you in the fucking shin, you got a bigger problem than you had in the first place.
Well,
and plus, people got a right to know if you're fucking going to die within 4 years, right?
Yeah, I mean, running for a position like that,
and I mean, it cuts down to the cost of telling the truth has come down, and the risk of telling a lie is going up. Kelt make a good point. It seems to come back to this constantly when you are assessing their propaganda, is that constantly they're being reckless.
Yeah.
They're not using enough truth. Like, if they were using half truths, then it works better. It is kind of frightening that so many people buy into it, but at the end of the day, all of those people that are buying into it, all you have to do is topple one thing, one little narrative they find out is not true. And I think the best way to see how truthful the media is to look up something that you have a lot of knowledge about. Look up articles on stuff that you have a deep understanding of, and read how ridiculous and half-truths and misleading and bullshit the articles are.
Yeah, it's like when you got a bad Star Trek writer, and all the Star Trek fucking Trekkies are fucking nerds, right? And they fucking know physics, they know fucking science, all this kind of shit. And they'll put some dumb shit in a fucking episode because they're retards, right? And they don't fucking understand this stuff. Not just for artistic license, not fucking just bending the fucking rules a bit. And it will piss everyone the fuck off.
Yep.
It's the same effect.
Yeah, Comic-Con will come around and they'll, be on the panel and these nerds will just rage.
No, you just upchuck what they're trying to sell you, right? You can't fucking even entertain it for the sake of fucking entertainment.
Right.
What was it that the black science guy, the one guy, he does the movie reviews based on if they're like the stars are accurate and shit.
Oh, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah. So he's like criticizing movies based on that. It's kind of the same effect. Like,
he's
if you have any, yeah, he's an idiot. But yeah, if you have understanding in one subject, like when people or things say ridiculous shit, you want to pull your fucking hair out.
No, barely even that. He's affirmative action fucking hire, like that guy. He just doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about half the time. Well, even when he was reviewing Interstellar, and they go, "Oh, Neil deGrasse Tyson is going to fucking help us review Interstellar and pick all the mistakes and stuff." Half the shit he was fucking saying was crap.
Really?
Yeah. It was just fucking irrelevant, or it was like, oh man, he's got this air of fucking, I'm a scientist. It's like Bill Nye shit, right? like he's got his little fucking ideology or whatever. He's under the fucking guise of science. And I'm not saying Bill Nye doesn't know how to fucking make a fucking electronic circuit or something, right? But the guy's got his fucking ideology, and he gets outside fucking. Steps outside that and he's a fucking idiot. Same with Thunderfoot, fucking this guy on the internet who fucking does science videos and then gets into politics and fucking fucks himself in the ass.
Well, if you watch like the new Cosmos, it was complete shit. Because half of it's like, oh, how great are these brave scientists that, fight for regulations and stuff. And some of it just was completely disconnected in how wonderful he was, because when he was a kid, he met
it's just
Carl
a
Sagan.
proto version of my sex junk is so that's
Yeah.
it's just like I watched a fucking episode and a half of that or something because it was so fucking boring. Like if you go back and watch the original Cosmos, which was like by drug smoking hippie fucking Carl Sagan.
Carl Sagan.
At least the guy knew what the fuck he was talking about, right? And he had a natural speaking ability and shit like that, right? It was actually interesting, and he did interesting points, even though he's like, oh, we're going to die in a fucking nuclear winter and all this shit. Like, that was a thing back then, right? We're going to destroy ourselves, fucking boo-hoo, shed a fucking tear, right? But, like, the science shit he was talking about was fucking good, right? It was actually watchable. This fucking shit. Carl Sagan used this slow-paced kind of fucking aesthetic, this sort of format. This guy tries to do it, and he fucking slows it down fucking like 10 times as much and just bores the shit out of everyone and uses these fucking crap effects. Fuck, he's an idiot. Oh, sorry, I'm not very passionate about that particular topic.
It's good, man. We need this passion. Have you guys know about the Australian journalist Andrew Bolt? They got attacked by a gang of protesters. They sprayed a bunch of glitter and dye at him, and he proceeded to start beating them, saying, "I don't really fight nice."
Never heard of him.
This brings up the point of, because immediately your reaction is good, great, like he defended himself, but you kind of see that the guys were, once they had done the initial glitter attack, they weren't really much of a threat, and it's just an interesting example of whether the use of force was justified or not.
Yeah, well, this thing, right? Okay, so basically, fucking Andrew Bolt, for people who don't know, he's like, it's like if Sean Hannity got fucking attacked outside the studio, right? Just because he's right wing, according to fucking everyone else, but the guy's probably pretty mild, right? Like, why the fuck would you go and attack Sean Hannity of all fucking people? So this guy's like the premier right wing columnist, and he was for a long time. Then he had his own show where he's like actually presenting, and he's about as verbal as fucking I am. So he's like not. This is not his forte. So you can really see him stumble around when he fucking, especially his early episodes, right? But now he's doing like his the Bolt Report. So like this fucking guy, he's been sued by and hauled before human rights commissions because he's pointed out some of these abos that are fucking whining about their abo rights and shit like that, are white as a sheet, for example, and he's not even nasty. He's not, like I say, like Sean Hannity, he's not out there saying fuck this and fuck niggers or anything, right? He's just doing the G-rated version of all this stuff, and he's not fucking racist or any shit like that. He's just calling bullshit.
I thought he was Australian.
Well, I don't know if the guy's like fucking over a beer, like like without a camera on him, but his writing has never been anything like us or anything, right? So it's almost like he's religious, but he's not, right? So like almost like he's a Christian kind of thing, because he even defend Catholics from witch hunts if they're you're a pedophile priest kind of thing, but it turns into a witch hunt. He even fucking defend that. So he's not anti-religious or anything like that. Probably his biggest claim to fame is we got this thing down here, the stolen generation, right? So to this day, abos have a fucking problem with child abuse, like sexual in particular. And basically abuse their own kids at a fucking ridiculous rate. So 200 fucking years ago, when the fucking white people got here, I mean, they sort of at some point noticed a couple of kids that were getting a fucking bad fucking deal, and they fucking legally, like using the court system and everything like that, because we never had slavery or cotton fields or any shit like that down here, right? There's never any official slavery. It's kind of like there's all these documents that say, you know, like abos are got to be treated like fucking the Queen's citizens, Queen's fucking subjects or whatever, same rights. So like they took abo kids away from their parents and put them with white families, right? And fucking they said, oh, they came down here and they were trying to wipe us out genetically and fucking take our kids off us, you know. So there's this generation of stolen kids. And he says, well, give me 10 names of fucking kids that were stolen, because there's all this documentation and shit from back then even. And, you know, he claims no one can do that. You know, so that's his claim to fame. So he pisses off all the fucking abos and the whiners and all the left and social justice shit. He's called bullshit on that, right? So like these Antifa fucking looking motherfuckers, Antifa, hooded fucking guys come up and spray him with shit, you know, which turns out that it's like, so when I first saw this, it's like a 3 frames per second video of him getting sprayed with some shit and him beating the fuck out of these, like punching these fucking guys. And I thought, you know, this is probably like a pie in the face equivalent, you know, because it turns out he was sprayed with fucking just dye and glitter and, you know, but he didn't know what it was at the time. So it's an interesting case, like when I talk about self-defense, because, you know, okay, if someone comes up and just puts a pie in your face and then runs away, you can't shoot him in the back, right? You can't attack them out of revenge. So, like, when this first happened, I'm thinking, this might not be so kosher, right? But then you see it from another angle. One of the guys was filming, presumably on purpose, right? Even though he denies it. Like, comes up and films the event right as it happens. And it's more clear. These guys fucking spray him with this shit in the eyes, so he can't see very well. He claims, right? And then they stick around, and he fucking starts fighting them, and they stand and fight, right? So, and he's saying, well, I don't know how many people were attacking me, fucking how long, whether they're going to do more of it. So, you know, then I went, oh, he's actually doing the right thing here, right? But the way his attitude, the way he crowed about punching these guys and fucking looking for a guy with a bruise on the fucking left side of his head and all this kind of shit, it didn't seem like his attitude was that in the right, you know. But you know, that's what fucking went down with that, and that's what I've been saying people should be fucking doing. Like when Lawrence Southern got fucking urine dumped on her or whatever the hell it was. You know, and those guys tried to apprehend that fucking, like, tried to grab that guy. You know, that if they'd held onto that fucking guy, like the guy's in a mask, that would be exactly the right thing to do, as long as your intention is to apprehend the guy, right? And you can use force if he resists, but you can't just beat the shit out of him and fucking send him on his way or shit like that.
Attacking somebody with urine is a biological. Attacking somebody with urine a higher level than with glitter. I mean, biological.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter
that could be assault. Well, it could be assault with a deadly weapon if there's some sort of pathogen in the urine, where the glitter is probably not going to carry a pathogen.
Yeah, but neither of them knew exactly what it was at the
time. You know, for an assault, and then turn them over to the authorities. So.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, you don't know what it is at the time, right? Could have been acid in Andrew Bolt's case, and he said as much, right? I don't know what the fuck it was, right? So, but once the attack is over, like, you know, if you could identify the person from the camera footage, and you can't because of the mask, which is another reason to grab them, right? You know, if you could identify the person, we just send the cops around their house to get them for, you know, hitting you with fucking Agent Orange or whatever the fuck they put on you, right? It doesn't matter what it was, a fucking pie in the face or a fucking nerve gas, right?
Right. It's assault either way.
Yeah. And like, you can't just shoot the fuckers in the back. I mean, at the time, you don't know what it is. You know, and see, this is the thing. If you can grab the guy, because you're going to have to, because he's anonymous, right? And it's basically a citizen's arrest, right? And then he resists, then he's resisting arrest. So you can use more increasing force. You just can't use, too much.
Right. You use the level.
Now, personally, I think
necessary.
I think it should rise to, like, citizen's arrest should rise to the level where you could shoot at someone fleeing a bank in a fucking car. I reckon that'd be kind of justified, right?
Yeah, it's a difficult line to draw. I mean, of course, it's going to be drawn by the courts. Because I mean, if somebody punches me in the face and then steps back 3 inches, right, and I attack him, well, he's not fleeing, right? But if he steps back 2 foot, is that different? Like, what is the definition of fleeing? Do they have to be running or walking away? Do they, it's a hard line to draw, but it doesn't negate the principle.
Well, see, in principle, right? Like, the cops can shoot you if you got a toy gun. Like fucking that movie with Michael Douglas where he fucking pulls the toy fucking water pistol out at the end, and the cop doesn't have any time to fuck around, so he shoots him, right? And it's perfectly fucking justified. All that sort of shit applies, right? So, like I say, it doesn't matter what the actual intention was. You've still got to protect yourself. So, you can say, well, at the time, this is what I thought the risks were, and this is how I responded, and just got to be able to justify responding the way you did.
So basically, as
Right.
long as you
You
can
just-
justify yourself to others that would be like in the court, you're good.
Yeah, and that's what I've always said. It's about justifying, it's like everyone should be able to carry guns as long as, and when they use them, they got to justify it after the fact.
Yeah, I mean that's what you're gonna have in a a civilized society.
And it also goes to the fucking, like, the terrorist thing and the no-go zones in Britain. They're talking about they've got these no-go zones. Okay, well, that's easy to fix, right? You get a policewoman, you fucking get her to fucking wear something normal, provocative, according to the Muslim fucking shit, but normal and legal, right? She walks down the fucking street there. They fucking come up to her and start hassling her, perhaps. Maybe they don't. It's not a no-go zone then, right? If a woman can just fucking walk down there, right? So you sort of prove it either way. But if someone comes up and hassles her and says, "Oh, you can't wear that" or whatever, she's like, all she got to do is stand up for her rights, say, "Yes, I fucking can." Free country.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you do see in Europe, in particular, like this inability for the police to do their job. It seems they'll just it's unsafe to defend or to enforce the law in these areas, and it's really what it amounts to is sort of oppression of the local people, because the laws are not enforced on those who would do them harm. It's not enforced equally. They're easy, well, we have to let go this guy because he threw a brick at a cop, but but if we don't let him go, then there could be riots here, and here. And it's not. Whereas if it was based on the actual principle of law, right, then you would go, well, no, of course we can't have places that are no-go zones. And as soon as you found out there was supposed no-go zones, you would send in undercover officers. You would,
It's only a few bad eggs, right? Supposedly. So it would take you fucking no time at all to get those bad eggs off the street, because they would self-identify if you had a fucking woman walking down the street, right?
Yeah. You'd dress up an officer in a legal but provocative quote unquote outfit. Give her a bikini and have her walk down the streets of these Muslim
Have 50
areas.
riot cops in the van fucking driving behind her.
Yeah, exactly. And then you'd lay down the law, but you don't see that happening. You do see this sort of complacency in their law breaking, which of course leads to more. But then you see, if you step out of line, somebody who's easier to enforce the law upon, you're fucked.
Yeah, it's been described as a two-tier fucking legal system, right? Two different standards.
And I would argue that the state, once you take monopoly of attempt to take, like, basically in England's case, especially because they've outlawed a lot of weapons and whatnot, like, you want a monopoly on the use of force, but then you go, well, we can't just patrol these areas. These areas, we recommend you not go. They're too dangerous. We don't patrol there. We're too scared to arrest some of these people here because there might be a riot and whatnot. Like, you just allow that to continue, but you're the monopoly on the use of force. What you're going to end up with is a challenge to that monopoly, and that's not a good thing either, because then you have people, arming up and going and doing sort of vigilante work, which is okay as long as those people are obeying the laws. But I would assume that usually it's the police that would be carrying out, justice and law in a more legal manner.
Well, if you get to a point where the cops are too afraid to go in, that's the time when you fucking roll in a couple of fucking drums of fucking CN20 and just nerve gas the whole fucking nest, right? That's that point. We'll nuke the site from orbit just to be sure.
Yeah, well, the idea that, we can't, this man has blatantly, we believe he's broken the law. We believe he's assaulted somebody with a deadly weapon, but we're going to let him go because his friends are scary. That is that is just blatantly not doing your job. That is blatantly doing the opposite of what you're supposed to do, which is enforce justice and law. And you've claimed monopoly of it, but then you're just not going to do it here because it's not convenient. That should not be allowed. And you would think that these people have so much at their disposal. They have riot police, they have SWAT teams, they have basic officers. I'm pretty sure they could call in the freaking military if they needed to, but they don't.
No, they're too busy writing you a fucking speeding ticket to fucking do that.
Yeah, it's not convenient enough to escalate it to that point.
But see, that's the thing. Like when they say, "Oh, it's just a few bad eggs," most Muslims are okay. Well, the Muslims in that area, if that was true, right? The Muslims in that area who are being in this no-go zone, they must be under the thumb of these fucking bad eggs, right? So if you go in there, you'll be doing them a favor. They just want to fucking live in a free country and get along, right? But if they leave fucking Islam, they'll be apostates and get stoned to death or fucking whatever. Or if one of their fucking daughters decides she wants to date a white guy, right? So you'd be doing them a favor, like all these non-violent Muslims, who are fucking have to suffer this, so there's no fucking excuse not to fucking do it. And so you just go and find the fucking guys that are doing this shit. They do it with drug dealers. They do these little sting operations with other fucking crimes, and the drug war isn't even totally justified, right? So you
have prostitution stings. You have stings on pedophiles and other other bad people. Why not do stings on white women walking in these areas? Why not? That there's a lot of sexual assault and stuff. Why aren't you doing stings on that? If it's really as big of a problem as it seems, then it'd be super easy. You could be catching them all day.
Yeah. And then you'd run out because, there's only a few bad eggs, so you run out of bad eggs, they'd all be in jail, right? That's the way it worked, right?
Yeah, evidently.
Well, it's not. I don't even blame. You can't even blame the local, police officers and stuff. They're just there doing their job. It's the legislation from the top that makes it illegal to go after these sort of things. Not necessarily inherently or like written in law, but they don't like this. Their administration doesn't want to be seen as racist or something like that, right? And I think you saw that in the rape attacks that happened in Britain the last couple years. Rotherham, thank you. I couldn't think of the name.
Well, at a certain point, right? Like if you're a police officer, you can give any examples of where you should disobey orders or disobey that kind of a thing, right? I can give you hypotheticals in which you should do that, right? If you're a cop and you're going to arrest somebody and you're just giving the order, you should just shoot him in the head with no trial, right? You should disobey that order. If you're told,
hey, wait, it's not an ego, right?
Well, I said people. Like I said, a person.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
But yeah, like if you're just ordered to not investigate this because it might make us look bad or we could get something on our file or whatever, like you should disobey that order.
Well,
That
it's
is
not a
bound
lawful
by
order,
oath.
right?
Yeah.
You're bound by
You can
oath
have
to obey illegal orders or to
You
enforce
can have
the
laws
law.
that aren't lawful order, lawful.
Right.
And in that case, you should disobey or you're held accountable. You know, there's nothing you really can do, or there should be nothing, I should say, that you can do that makes you above the law.
Yeah, I mean the police are held accountable for that fucking bullshit, like with those Muslim grooming gangs, fucking like keeping those kids and all that kind of shit, right? So like, you know, ultimately people do hold them accountable because they should have fucking done something. So you know they like whether they got orders from above or what, just following orders, you know, like fucking like no one gives a fuck, you know. And these no-go zones, you know, if I was a cop, I would imagine that I would go, oh, I had to get from this suburb to that suburb, and that little suburb was in between, and I just drove through it because it's an emergency. You know, I would take all these little fucking detours through these no-go zones. You know, no matter what they fucking told me, like you can find reasons to fucking do it anyway.
Well, you would imagine any sane system when you were told or people rumored that people aren't allowed to go to these areas, right? Or they'll be physically fucking assaulted or raped or whatever. The first thing you would do is, oh, that's a problem. We can't have that. We need to arrest people who are creating that kind of situation. Would that not be your first instinct as police chief?
Absolutely. But you know, if you're told from you know, higher up that you have to stand because we don't want to appear to be, you know, racist, Islamophobic bigots or whatever. You know, these people are dependent on their jobs. There's, you know, some level of economic coercion going on.
Well, they shouldn't be.
It's
like,
still not
like any other fucking job.
In the same aspect that if you saw a police officer raping somebody, that you should take action, right? You should do something about that. It's the same principle behind if you're a cop and you're told not to pursue people who are breaking the law because you might seem racist or whatever, you should disobey standing down or not investigating.
Yeah. You should make a citizen's arrest because you might seem like a vigilante, right?
Yeah.
right. No, I'm not justifying that they shouldn't be doing anything. I'm just kind of trying to get into the mindset that these cucks have.
Do you think, say there was a situation like this, as
The gorilla mindset.
Yeah, I mean, say there's someone abusing kids in your fucking street, and you're a cop, right? Do you really give that much of a fuck about your job? Like, what are they going to do once you fucking confront the guy or fucking, you know, arrest the guy or whatever with evidence, overwhelming evidence, etc. You know, like there's things you can do that you can get away with. Like, you can push the fucking envelope, and they can't. You put them in a position where they can't fucking refuse. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean,
right.
With this Comey thing, you can see this guy is at least trying to cover his own ass, right? By doing certain things. Like, you might disagree with his ultimate goal or what he's doing, but he's trying to do it in this ass covering way where, oh, well, if I do this, he won't do that, right? So, like, I mean, so you've got these prior orders, you can't fucking do this, right? And then, I mean, I don't know, like, I've done this with employers fucking repeatedly where I don't seek approval for things. I just fucking do that, go and do things and take responsibility for the consequences because I know that it's going to turn out good.
Right.
You know, and it's kind of like, fucking around, fuck getting approval. I just take responsibilities, and people kind of like that, you know, ironically, you know.
Right.
Well, if there was, you know, if you knew, like, if you're a cop and you knew that somebody had, like, planted a bomb somewhere, right? But it's going to be illegal to, like, access the information that, you know, you pretty much know in order to arrest the guy or whatever. Like, in that situation, even as the cop, you should go, okay, well, I could get in trouble. I could go to jail for what I'm going to do, but it's worth it, right? It's
right.
worth
If I save people's lives, I don't care if I lose my job. I've saved,
or go to jail. And in a just society, like
I've saved a lot.
if you have a system that actually enforces like Western style laws, like the cop would get in trouble there, and now he could try to like write a letter, get pardoned. Everybody will know, well, hey, he saved everybody. Maybe he'll get a loose sentence, but it was worth it, right? He knew that there was going to be consequences, but it was worth it for the outcome.
Right. Well, and yeah, like
Let's say these London. I'm sorry.
The consequences don't really matter. You'll take the consequence of going to jail for saving people's lives, and if you spin it the right way, they'd be crazy to even throw anything at you.
Well, this is the kind of thing, like, say, with these London stabbings, right? There's a bunch of fucking muzzies running into bars, fucking slitting people's throats and all this kind of shit, right? So, like, say you're fucking, like, one of these nigger drug dealer types, right? And you got your fucking gat on you, right? Like, and you pull out and you fucking shoot one of these fuckers. And you're not even supposed to fucking have a gun. Like, it's illegal for you to have a fucking gun. Like, do people really fucking want you to go to jail?
Probably not.
Yeah. And they're going to, like, fucking be on your side. When you go before the judge, it's not like, I'm a fucking drug dealer and I fucking shot fucking, I was a pimp or something and I fucking shot some guy, like, in the course of my business. It's kind of like, you're going to get the most lenient sentence at the least, right? And sometimes the situation you're in, like, what are you going to stand there and fucking die? Right? Like, if it's you that's going to be the next target, right? So, like, it's how you use it. It's not fucking that you fucking got one that people really give a shit about. And I would love to see that fucking situation, just for the sake of, so people go, oh yeah, you can fucking do something. You can take responsibility. Sometimes it's not even personal risk, right? So, like, say you're fucking like you're halfway up the chain, and this is something I know from the army too, right? Where I just fucking do shit, right? Like if say there's some local fucking police chief, like this guy in charge, right, of cops, and he said go and fucking clean out that no-go zone, right? And by the time fucking like anyone knows about it, you've done it, right? There's probably people higher than you that go, fuck, wish I had the balls to do that. But you didn't take any personal risk. You just told your guys to go and do it, right? It's just the only risk you're taking is to your career, and you're just taking responsibility, and that's what people fucking got this thing against, like the wussified fucking Western world, is the inability to take responsibility and just say, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to wear the fucking consequences. But I don't think they're going to be that fucking bad anyway. Like most of the time they are.
Right.
Well, according to Tony Robertson of the... Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, according to like Tony Robertson of the British Defense League, he says that when he interacts with the cops, usually they tell him that like they wish they could do something, right? But none of them seem to. Like they wish they could.
Tony Robertson? Yeah.
So it seems like, the average beat cop would love that, right? But they feel like they can't. And I would say that they should. They should do it regardless of whatever happens, because, they should believe in what they're doing. And I know that's, like, people could make fun of that as ridiculous or whatever, but they're literally working in the monopoly of law and order. And they're being told not to enforce it, which they're the only ones that can do that job. If other people do that job, it's a hell of a lot more risky for them to do, and they're not trained in it.
We need Taco here to fucking disagree with this and say, oh, no, but you might fucking, this might happen or that might happen. I mean, but it's pretty clear, you just take responsibility and fucking, the benefit of the doubt is on your side. People will fucking, like, once you've fucking done it, they can't take it back, right? And so, you've had some effects, right?
I just wanted to say that it seemed like there were some problems with the link. It seemed to be like kind of iffy. Some people said that they had to do it 3 or 4 times. Kenji has joined us. He said he was having some difficulty with it. I don't know why that is, but it seems to be something with Google Hangouts.
I followed Kelt's link. It worked fine.
Ah, shit.
Why'd you turn off my camera?
Because your profile picture was like creepy, and I didn't know what kind of crazy stuff you were about to play.
What the fuck is that?
Well, you sent links out to people. You even sent it out to KK, Alex, but for some reason they weren't working. And I think I sent Iron Man the link too, and it worked. So maybe I'm just, maybe mine work. Maybe because you're either on a phone or leading this right now.
I tried to, I might be because I'm leading it because I got the link from within the Hangout. I just wanted to throw that out there. Next time I'll look up the bug afterwards. Next time we'll try to rectify this problem.
Your attempt to get rid of fucking 9 non-argument didn't work. He's back. God damn it.
So, the Supreme Court ruled that chimpanzees are not people in the eyes of the law. What implications does this have for our racist legal system? Are blacks no longer going to be held accountable?
What does ego-utilitarianism think about that?
Are chimpanzees equal to humans in the eyes of the law?
What was the question?
Are chimpanzees equal to human beings?
No. God, I
in
have to go over.
responsibility?
Is Michelle Obama equal to...
I've got one general rule, right?
Yeah.
The law treats you based upon your productivity, right?
Okay. So,
What if it's a really productive chimp then?
yeah.
Yeah, sure. Then you're gonna cater to its wishes.
It's an engineer.
So, like, if you had if you look at the bell curve, there's a lot of people with IQs equal to chimps.
Well, also, if
But
a
the
chimp
chimps
were,
probably earn more, right, than an equally like IQ'd person, because the chimp can people will pay to see the chimp, and so the chimps probably earn more in profit than an equally talented human being.
well, I don't know. There's a case
Novelty,
that,
man.
Or like how about dolphins? And it's like a really smart dolphin,
no, the problem is these
like a
these
bomb
animals
sniffing
you're talking
dolphin.
about, they don't have demands, right? So they don't. First off,
Food and shelter and
Other-
water.
no, you know what I mean.
Chimps can be taught sign language.
Demands
Sure they can.
demands enough to to command some type of salary.
Are you familiar
Well-
with the temple monkeys?
No.
They steal your stuff, and then when you exit the temples, you have to give them food in order to get your stuff back. So those monkeys, of course,
Were they trained like this or what?
what?
Were they trained like this?
They learned it.
Unintentionally trained, probably. People probably offered them food to try to attract them, and they figured it out.
So,
Yeah.
so if you price out the
They've developed a government.
you price out the amount of goods they get per day, do you think they earn a reasonable salary to compete and demand certain salaries?
Probably more than a sandwich engineer, but that's
No,
just a guesstimation.
Their own, right? Their own, right? I mean, first off, you got to take into account that no one will pay to see these monkeys unless you have the proper setting, right? So it's actually the capital owners, the people who own the zoo.
Well,
The people who upkeep the zoos.
nobody
know,
will
that's
pay
the-
to see Ariana Grande unless she has a place to perform.
I think in this case, I would assume that the temple wouldn't be privately owned. I would assume it would be a commons that had been in existence for a long period of time.
Well, we were more talking about ego-utilitarian. I understand that, under propertarian, we have to get rid of these parasitical monkeys that are
Yeah, that doesn't
making
make
a
sense.
problem in the commons.
That doesn't make sense. You're not considering the cost of getting rid of the monkeys. By monkeys, I'm assuming you mean blacks.
No, I'm talking about temple monkeys, but the analogy works, I guess.
It gets so confusing on the show when we talk about monkeys. We don't know whether we're talking about African Americans or not.
You see the difference, but the whole difference between monkeys and humans is that they
How
actively
dare
trade.
you, Jay? How dare you say something so racist on that?
I saw a headline that says chimps and people can solve victims in surprisingly similar ways. So I guess they gave a monkey a fucking Facebook and he changed his profile picture or something.
Well, do you think that there'll ever be a way that we can teach monkeys ego-utilitarianism?
No.
No?
Well, I don't think so. I think it'll
We've given them currency.
it'll become a moot point by the time they're able to. I mean, it's all about artificial intelligence. That's all I'm concerned about, right?
Well, so, I mean, we gave him food stamps and fucking like equal rights. You're talking about actual monkeys. Sorry, fucking got confused again.
But yeah, no, I mean, just the story was in New York, a activist group had basically said that it was a violation of habeas corpus to basically have the monkeys in prison. And
So I mean, you said it might be a higher cost.
well, of course, the court ruled that only people are, covered under the protections that people are given. But the implication there is that, okay, well, where do we define people? Right? I guess human beings.
We're more alike than different. Don't let hate divide us.
I mean, chimpanzee.
What's the
how can-
difference between a very smart chimpanzee and a vegetated or very retarded person?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think that the monkey can earn more money.
Exactly.
So the monkey is more valuable, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying
and
monkeys can
therefore-
earn more money than KK? Hey, you're gonna have to explain that fucking picture you got there, KK. Like, have you been on the same side as Kurt Eichenwald, like looking at fucking little fucking Asian girls or something? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
It's the love between an uncle and a niece.
Because I don't think the mathematics thing is going to cover it. Like it's not going to justify it. Like even if you're an engineer, people are still going to fucking not like it.
I mean, I don't need to talk about my picture. My camera's turned off anyway.
Were you? Yeah, I was concerned about what you were gonna broadcast.
What? It's just a friendly game of Twister.
Yeah, I don't want that Game of Twister broadcast in video. The picture's fine. Doesn't have nudity. We're good.
It's just a pig.
Yeah, as long as there's no nudity or like stuff I can get banned for, we're good. What do you think about AI-powered sex dolls, KK?
Like, I don't care. Might as well have some. I don't care.
You don't think they're the future?
No.
Well, if the sex
Those are
dolls can earn,
servants. Those are. you're
I
talking-
think the real question, KK, is would you invest in one once?
I'm more interested in human tools for AI.
well, don't you think that in the future the AIs are going to be far more advanced and have more computation?
Why would they be our
power
sex?
than-
Why would they be our sex slaves?
That's what I'm saying. What do you think? Do you think that they're a more perfect metaself and they'll be more valuable than real people?
Of course.
Yeah, I mean they're going to be more valuable to you than the blow-up doll you currently own, right? So
You gotta understand one thing, right? It's not an either or situation. It's not a zero sum game, right?
I didn't say it was.
They can code an inferior entity or inferior group of individuals can coexist with a superior one, and they can mutually benefit from each of their existence as long as each are able to try are willing and able to trade.
So like if you had so let's say you had a trolley car, right? And it's hurtling down the track. And on one side you have a super advanced AI sex doll that has like a 5,000 IQ.
Sure, but your hypothetical is not real life, right?
And then you
not
and
an
then
either.
the other side you
You're making
have
it as
that's why it's
zero-sum
a
game.
hypothetical
You're making it
dumbass.
as- You're making it a zero-sum game, right? Of course, you know what I'm going to pick. Right? Now, in the case of a zero,
No, I don't. And the other side I have 1,000 humans. Which one would you pick relative to your philosophy, right?
What do you think?
The sex doll.
Yeah. Why does that have to be a sex doll? AI's function wouldn't be sex. That's a leisure tool for humans.
So you,
And I would if that's a sole function, I'd go with the humans.
what if it was programmed to want it?
Is programmed to want it?
Yeah. Why do you think that a super intelligent AI wouldn't want that?
Then why would I care? Why would I care if this is it its sole function?
No,
Can it
no.
produce other things
It
other
can do
than
all kinds of other things. Yeah.
pleasure?
Well, but that pleasure has value, right, in the market, wouldn't you say?
No, absolutely not.
So we shouldn't take into consideration.
Well,
like,
a little, I guess but it's not direct value, right?
why?
Like, you have to make a circular argument why sex without reproduction is even reproduction. That's somewhat not as valuable.
People pay for it.
Yeah,
People
like
pay
I
a
don't
lot
care.
of
That's
money for
subjective,
it?
right? That's subjective. That's not objective value.
It's not objective value.
Yeah, it's not objective value. But people pay for heroin too. They wind up ODing, right?
Well, I
It's
agree
an
that
emotion-
might be
it's an
a.
emotion- it's emotional fucking, consumption. Why should I care about that?
Well, I'm just asking. So you don't take into consideration what people are willing to pay for in the
No.
cost benefit.
No. Provide some information when you have little information, but other than that, I'd rather look at the. I'd rather take a step back and look at the situation.
How are you deriving value?
Again, value is derived from the ability of the good when it's consumed to perpetuate the better parts of the meta self. That's a more specific statement I want to make, right? You don't want to necessarily perpetuate your meta self perfectly. That's where I made a mistake. Obviously, I was explaining what you're emotionally, what kind of you're emotionally programmed to do. Well, your inferior programming due to slow evolution does. But I mean, it doesn't make sense, right? So why would it's just like a black guy trying to perpetuate the black race. Do you think that's objectively valuable? Or is that a waste of time since necessarily at least
strategy is that?
How much cotton is there to pick? That's probably like what you got to compare that value to.
I mean, it might be beneficial to like his evolutionary strategy.
Let me give you a more extreme example, right? Would you take time to perpetuate, let's say, Down syndrome?
No.
So what is it that you want to perpetuate of your race, right? The bad parts of it?
Of course not.
Dirty Appalachians? You want to perpetuate that?
Yes, I do.
So you're saying we shouldn't perpetuate, so we should kill you because we don't want to perpetuate you and your bullshit, your spurgomania.
Do not perpetuate does not necessarily mean eliminate. You understand that?
I think ultimately this comes down to the question of an economic thought. It's like what gives things value, right? Because you could go on the tangent that everything can be broken down to, everything's going to depreciate and die because we live in a universe that has entropy, right? So what gives things value? Well, it's human needs and wants, right? So if we appreciate different cultures and things like that, right? Like you're going to.
I mean, I don't know where you got that bullshit. Maybe you read too much Austrian shit. That's not what gives things value.
KK,
Evolution is what
KK
gives
just made an argument that we shouldn't encourage him, basically. Like if you don't want to for KK's bullshit, don't encourage it.
I don't believe Kel is very super well read on Austrian economics to talk about entropy. That doesn't have anything to do.
Just fine. No, the value part, right? He's saying value comes from subjective opinions. Bullshit. Subjective opinions it's the other way around, right? Objective value drives subjective opinions.
But if people don't want it, ultimately, of course, scarcity creates demand, right? Like if you can't get anyone to fucking buy it, you're not going to sell it.
Well, hypothetically, there's objective value, but
value and price. Right?
Objective value would require perfect information in order to completely act upon it.
Which is impossible.
So for all intensive purposes, it is subjective, but I know that technically it's not.
Look. Opinion is not value. You do you have that? Do you understand that? Opinion is expected value. Right? Now, do you see anything wrong with what you just said? Do you see anything? Do you see? Do you need? Do you still need to reconcile that? They're perfectly incongruent. Right?
So where does value come from then? It's objectively just set by the universe. Just comes out of nowhere.
By natural law, evolution, same thing, right? The evolutionary mechanism.
But ultimately, evolution, like say of biological beings, right? Like ultimately, you're gonna have the heat death of the universe. Everything's gonna die out.
That's
right?
not guaranteed. Right?
So there is no objective.
We don't know that, right? And we
Look,
always
okay.
live.
I think
But you're talking about perfect information.
We don't
So
know
we
that with
wouldn't know
100% certainty, right?
Yeah, but there's a lot of other things to know with 100% certainty.
I mean,
Like, probably the only
I
thing
was under
I do
the.
know with 100% certainty is your opinions are fucking downy opinions, and fucking
like
so we
this.
shouldn't encourage any more of them.
No, it's like this, Kelt, right? Imagine if you're on a deserted island. Let's just say, I don't know, there's a good percentage chance that you never were going to be rescued, right? Do you just off yourself in that case? Or do you live
that's
for
why
that small percentage of being rescued? It's the same thing of escaping entropy.
yeah, but you can make the same argument to ours, right?
Because
Like, why
what's
should we
that?
just toss everything aside when there is, that small chance, right?
Well, that's the case I'm making. You're the one trying to make the case the opposite. Case
No, I was just following your train of logic.
Well, you keep bringing up entropy. That's.
And we wouldn't
cares?
mind so much if we were on a desert island with a sex
I'm
robot.
just-
Well,
Well, what I'm curious about is, so you're telling me that somebody who's the greatest prostitute in the world, right, is like what, equally or less valuable than somebody who can't walk or do anything
Hey.
that's in a vegetative state?
Alex, don't
Yeah.
talk to your mother like that. No, actually, KK, I'm glad you're here. I have a question that me and the irregulars have been pondering. What is worse, college or weed?
Objectively, weed. That's a serious answer. I mean, weed, video games, all these recreational drugs, they serve no purpose, right? That's objectively. I'm just being serious.
Well, yeah, but if you go into 100.
But actually, for some people like maybe Alex, you shouldn't be going to college. Is actually a detriment to you. It depends.
See, this is the predicament we're in. This is exactly what the question.
Well, and this was the argument I was making, because we were saying, all right, maybe over the course of my life, I'll spend about as much as you will on a college education, right? Buying drugs. The difference
I'd
is,
probably speculate that you've already spent as much.
the difference is I have to put up that money up front, whereas in college, you get to put yourself in debt. Right?
Nothing wrong with that. So what? There's nothing wrong with that. Also, it depends, right? I mean, if you're in the STEM fields, other than genetics, or just like basic 6-month courses to become an electrician, anything with those, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about psychology. I'm not talking about business. I'm not talking about even economics. You shouldn't be learning that in college. You shouldn't be paying $100,000 to learn that stuff.
Well, yeah, if you do pay $100,000 to get taught Marxist economics in college, you probably
It's not
shouldn't.
Marxist, man. Why do you think it's Marxist?
Most of what college teaches is,
Yeah, but
Have you ever taken a college economics course?
Most
Yeah.
economic courses, though, are
The basic economic courses are very fair.
yeah.
You present both sides of every issue.
Yeah.
I don't see how
they
it's
present
necessarily. You have to. The higher you go, the more you talk about like how to manipulate, or how the government manipulates, how to affect policy in it. And the higher you go, it becomes a little more Marxist. I wouldn't say it's Marxist,
Yeah, it's more like just left.
but you have to go very high, and most of you haven't even gone that far. Like second year basic economics courses are hardly taught to most people unless you're an economics major. and it's pretty fair. I mean, everything, the neutrality of money. That's as free market. I adopt that theory.
A lot of a lot of the college courses, to be fair, are very Marxist, but it's not necessarily econ.
Yeah, it's the social.
I believe, I don't remember where I looked it up, and econ seemed to be like the least, like the professors are least likely to be far left.
Yeah, that's right. You go to history, you go to psychology, you go to all those stuff.
Yeah. Then, what about gender studies, KK? What's the objective value of
Boring.
gender? Will it exist in a
Boring.
free society? An eco-utilitarian society? Are we gonna have?
I don't see the utility of it. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't have it. I just don't see it. I mean, I don't get it. If you're talking about free society, who cares? Who cares what you call yourself? Everyone can make their own rules. Everyone can define the gender whatever they want to on their property, and if they can enforce it. So what? I don't see it. I don't see the.
Well, when you start taking classes where there is no right answer, how do you fail?
You talking about gender studies? Is that what they do? I don't know what they do.
I don't know. I've never taken one, to be fair. I probably will never will.
You fucking bigot.
I mean, I do have a book that I bought for a. I guess it'd be sociology, sexuality now, embracing diversity, and it's pretty. It's fairer than I thought it would be, but it's got some parts that are negative. So we're coming up near.
Hey, where's Asa?
Near an hour and a half. Oh, he wasn't able to make it tonight because of technological differences.
What he said.
All right. If anybody doesn't have any more topics, we can go ahead and wrap it up a little bit early. I think Iron Man had some more.
Where's the intermission?
I didn't do an intermission.
We don't
There you
have
go.
anybody in
Cross
this Berg chat, though.
And Whirly Girl, our home shiksa.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have
Broadcast
any
on-
of it open.
Is this being
What?
broadcast on YouTube? I didn't see it in the feed.
Different channel than our regular
It'll be a
channel.
different channel than the normal channel. We're gonna upload it after it's completed. Like because of the rape camp video, apparently that's like too edgy for YouTube, and they got rid of our live streaming ability.
It probably wasn't even the discussion of rape. They just heard KK talking on there, and they're like, "Yeah, we have to shut this down.
Yeah.
Pure cancer."
Even though we were advocating against rape camps.
Yeah, so you need to go back through your videos, KK, and make sure that they're all safe.
What do you mean?
Like the videos you've put up, like some of them might not be politically correct enough for YouTube nowadays.
Oh, really? I don't think I was edgy.
Like dog fucking in a free society.
Talk about that stuff.
That's all you talk about. What are you talking about? I swear that's, from what I understand, that's the whole crux of ego-utilitarianism.
I wanted to ask Asa something. Maybe you guys could answer in his place.
Go ahead.
He's talking about like how immigrants are a net negative to government expense and revenue.
Yeah.
But
On average, yeah.
considering that we run a budget deficit every year, don't you think the average citizen, no matter the race or if they're immigrant or domestic, are net negative?
Yeah, but it's in degrees.
The state.
Yeah,
but
I mean, you just look at the statistics of, like, say, for example, Mexican immigrants take welfare at a rate of 73%, where immigrants of European descent take it at like a 27% rate. So objectively, they are not the same impact on the system.
Yeah, and I don't think that it's not like 90% of the population that are not producing. It's a small number taking a lot of things.
Free Gibbs.
I'm not debating that. I'm not debating the magnitude of each group, but It's just because, but basically, I mean, the real telltale sign is IQ, right? I mean, so what do you do in that case? I mean, you get rid of them, or do you change the rules? Do you implement new rules to build on top of the bad rules, or do you get rid of the bad rules?
Well, you get rid of the bad rules. You get rid of the rules that give them the welfare. You get rid of the incentives that bring them here to begin with.
Why are those two mutually exclusive?
Maybe the ones that come here would then be a contributing factor to the United States as a whole. But as it exists now, they're not. They're a drain more than they're a contribution.
Well, it's not mutually exclusive, right? You can introduce new rules and then get rid of the bad rules.
They actually are mutually exclusive.
Why?
And we're just looking at economic factors here. We're not looking at the high trust factors here. We're not looking at the social cohesion factors.
High trust.
Other immigrant groups. Shut the fuck up for a second. Other immigrant groups, when you have a multicultural society, there's lower social trust.
What the fuck does that mean? What the fuck does that mean?
It means that people are less likely to go out and interact with their society.
Okay, so if I were to go to a white trailer park where everyone's poor, do you think there's a high sense of trust there?
There is. There's a higher sense of trust in cultural neighborhood.
That's kind of a straw man because you're exclusively selecting one that has supposedly lower
it's not
IQ
a straw
or
man
something.
because I'm demonstrating there's a more important factor, right? Income. If you're in a very rich neighborhood,
you're saying trust is socioeconomic and not racial, and that's just factually wrong.
The only reason why income is there is
I don't
because
even
you're
know what
selecting
the
for
term trust entails.
No, because you can look at like similar incomes.
What has this got to do with the well-being of society? I know, as far as it being your primary concern.
I'll give you an example.
Why do you guys tend to first mention trust above all things else?
Because it enables a win-win relationship in game theory, so that it provides a better outcome for the whole.
Oh, you mean trade doesn't do this, or
No.
even, I mean, profit doesn't do this? You mean?
Not the same way that race does. Look at Appalachia.
Okay, so,
I know we have our Appalachian,
So how many people are beating down the door to migrate to Appalachia?
Well, look, Appalachia is primarily it's a very homogenous part of the country, and it's also one of the poorest parts of the country, and there's still some of the lowest crime in the nation there. Very, very homogenous places have less crime.
Look,
it has nothing to do with the socioeconomic status of this place.
Crime itself is already relatively low everywhere. Well, I don't want to. That's relative.
Okay. So why don't you live in Detroit or Baltimore or any of these places that are super diverse and poor?
Wait,
have high crime?
Again.
Why wouldn't anyone trust you playing Twister with a little Asian girl? I mean, that's fucking question everyone's got.
What I was trying to imply is that the better places will tend to have higher migration rates. That's what I was implying. Not trust. So when you look at a place like Appalachia, I don't even know where that is, but it's probably a group of
East Coast.
That's where all the apples come from. That's why it's called Appalachia.
No one's beating down the door to migrate there. It's not trust, right? It's not trust. It's actually like if you can make how can economically.
Well, how does trust have anything to do with migration wants? That has nothing to do with it.
That's what they do have some relationship, but I'm saying that the migration.
I mean, chocolate and peanut butter have some relationship.
Even though migration is a
relevant,
subjective valuation. I'm talking about migration. It shows you the better.
Hey, what's it? Subjective is a subset of objective.
But anyways, trust is. I mean, crime shouldn't be a concern. Even when you look at the black population, what's the violent crime rate? What do you think what percent of the black population commits violent crimes? Tell me.
A largely
all of it.
disproportionate.
A large? Are you serious?
A largely
Well, let's just
disproportionate.
look at
Probably less than
proportionate.
2%.
look
Probably.
at crime stats and get some actual objective answers.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Go look at
black
some
men
crime
make
stats.
up
I would bet you that it's at least under 2% of the black population. that commits-
black men make up 6% of the fucking population in the United States, and they commit over 50% of the violent crime.
Yep.
Now, what? That wasn't the stat I was asking you to quote, right?
So
What
you
percent of the
just
black
want to try to
population-
minimize.
was
You're
that?
asking for an opinion, not an
Just
actual.
Just
When
because
you
it's just
when you
because
say they
it's
commit
small,
50%,
just because it's small and it's not a majority doesn't mean it doesn't have real
no,
world
it's
effect.
not violent crime is not a concern. When was the last time any of you were a victim of violent crime?
I have been a victim of violent crime on multiple occasions in my life.
So let me ask you something, KK.
Well,
If
most
there-
of us.
if one even 1% of a population does violent crime, right? And they're
So
doing
what
it
about
on
the
a
other
scale.
99% of the productive population? Do you kick out that whole population because of the 1%? Because of the small bads they create in
You do if they're imposing
I've
multiple
already given you the
costs.
statistics.
No, you didn't. You told me 50% of them. I mean, they commit 50% of the violent crime. That's not the statistic.
6% of the population
cares about
commits 50% of the violent crime.
Okay, let me go to an extreme, right? What if there's only one murder in the world every year, or 2 murders, and black people committed one of those?
Oh, that's not realistic. That's the hypothetical.
Kick out the,
Okay,
no, it's just
That's not realistic. So we
I'm just
won't
taking
even
it to
listen to the
demonstrate my point,
hypothetical,
right?
okay? This is your
I'm just
standard,
taking
okay?
it to an extreme. I'm just taking it to an extreme to demonstrate my point. Do we kick out the black population because of that?
You're using
So
a total
before
bullshit extreme
someone
to
brought up
No,
a hypothetical.
No,
That's
it's not a
also
bullshit extreme.
No, brought up a hypothetical as
the
an
next step
extreme,
is
and you didn't want to accept it.
it's
Why
just-
didn't you?
it's just-
They were just going to an extreme to make their point, right?
What?
So why are you a retard? Is my question.
No, it's just my
The
point.
answer
You
would be
see my
no,
point,
KK.
right? That's
I see that
agree.
you're
There's a critical
disingenuous when someone else is making a point.
there's a critical point here, right? Now what's more important is the percentage of the total number of violent crime times the percentage times whatever high percentage the one population.
Okay, if there's one murder in the world per year, it'd be a nigger that did it.
But you're
Guaranteed.
totally forgetting the fact that the total violent crime is very low. It's very low.
Relative to what?
Not relative to
What's-
other groups.
The
Not
population-
Yeah, but
relative.
if you got rid of all niggers, you would have zero.
And like the rape rates in Sweden. And
So
stuff
can
have
someone
gone up
quote
like
me? Can
100%.
someone quote me the percentage of the black population to commit violent crime? And that's
100%.
that's a,
Even if it's
100%.
that's including
point-
you know
Look at
even if it's hey, even if it's 0.1%, it's disproportionate.
If they're
Vastly
producing enough
disproportionate.
crime,
I
compared to
don't
others,
disagree.
enough
I don't
crime,
disagree. It's disproportionate. That tends
And
to
if they're
because
producing
of
enough
IQ.
crime, if they're
that tends to be
producing enough,
because of IQ, right? Not because of real race, but look, I mean, other than that, well, actually, I'm curious, right? When you control for IQ between populations, what's the
it
crime?
seems to disappear.
The crime rate equalizes.
Yeah, it seems.
No, it's not 100%. It's not
I'm just
100%.
curious.
pretty close.
It's not 100% conversion, but it does help considerably.
Well, and so here's another stat. High income blacks commit more crime than low income whites, and this
That's
is
because most of them are
possibly
fucking.
IQ.
I think
Yeah,
that's because
possibly
most
IQ,
of them
but
fucking are
it
athletes.
debunks the socioeconomic.
Most of them are athletes.
It may not affect the IQ component of the argument, but it debunks the socioeconomic part of the argument.
but
Well,
but
they-
do you think?
I didn't even bring up. Well, I didn't even resort.
Let me ask you a question now. Let me
I
ask.
didn't restrict myself to income, right? I was really trying to restrict myself to IQ at that point.
Let me ask another question. Do you think
We're
IQ is a
making-
IQ or income? Those two.
Hold up.
Income would be
Hold
a
up.
better
Jesus
proxy.
Christ. Let me ask a question. Do you think IQ is 100% involved? Because there's other factors involved, I believe. That like
I think it
like-
explains. I think it explains
I think it
most
has
of it.
sure, but you could have like imbalanced mental states or things like that, right? Like you could have a disproportionate production of certain neurotransmitters, or you could have hormone levels that contribute to it, or different things, right?
Yeah.
So
I think hormones are kind of emotional triggers, right? They're things created by your body, so it tends to get you to act emotionally, right, instead of logically. So I think these hormone imbalances are probably due to IQ, to low IQ. Because
What
you
the fuck?
tend to-
Did you actually
tend
just say
to-
that? Did you say hormone? No, because did you really just say that hormone imbalances is due to IQ?
yeah, even white jocks they tend to be dumber than your beta male in a physics
Bullshit.
class.
That's actually not true whatsoever.
Bullshit.
So how
That's a stereotype, not a factually based
Yeah,
statement.
yeah.
okay,
Basically,
yes, that's
different-
provide you
Different
provided
gene
evidence?
pool. Sure. There's different.
Get this. So
Different-
he wanted to know what percentage of fucking niggers are criminals, right? Violent criminals. Right? I just fucking did the numbers. And
What
it's
is
funny as fuck. He said like under
What is it?
2%. So like
Oh,
I had to look up, I couldn't
Why,
get
what-
anything directly, so I had to look up the number of males in prison right now, right? Which, it's a ballpark figure because, you got to do something pretty serious to go to prison, right? So, and this is just males. Okay. So that's just to get some idea of fucking people, criminals, right? Criminal mentality or something. It was 2.2 million. And then I looked up the basically purebred niggers is population is 37 million. 5.9%.
I think the majority of them are there for drug-related cases.
Yeah, well, so I knew people would say that, but I mean, to get, if you run these fucking numbers, you're probably not going to get 2%. You're probably going to find out that a ridiculous fucking percentage of, and I consider 6% a ridiculous fucking percentage of niggers are fucking criminals.
No, look.
Well, that's basically
society-
proportionate to their overall, demographic numbers. 5.5% of the 6% of the total population.
I want to get back to
niggers,
this
like,
goddamn hormone thing because it's bothering the fuck out of me. So basically, there is smart people with hormone imbalances, and it doesn't fuck up their IQ, KK. So they're not fucking.
the correlation, right?
Yeah, but I can also get to that. Different gene different gene pool sets, different demographic gene pool sets have different average levels of certain hormones, right? So it's more endemic to, how it was selected for generationally over time, and less to deal with this high correlation between IQ and hormone levels.
Why don't you look at the strength of correlation between each of those two explanatory variables and show it to me if it's stronger, then fine, or if the model is more steep, fine too. I mean, just provide some evidence, but I still think
Well, I'm not going to pull it up right now because I'm doing something else as well, but.
Well, I think you'll find IQ is a better predictor of the things you're.
But I think by next time that we talk, I'll pull something up for you. Okay.
But again, I'm addressing your crude strategy of getting rid or segregating all the races or whatever your stupid strategy is.
Well, for
Well,
one,
yeah,
we never even proposed this in this talk. I think you
What?
keep going back to
What's
No,
a white
like,
nation? Aren't you white nationalists? Was
yeah, but
that
tonight we would never talked about that, so I don't know how it's relative, but
I'm
Well, and you come from a culture that is a primarily homogenous sort of nation, so you get your ethno state, but we don't get ours.
Well, granted, he's in California and he hates his people.
Yeah. what
Okay.
the fuck?
You're against your own people having their own interest in their own country, so you're literally
Who's
the
my
definition
people?
of a cuckold.
We're all human
gen-
beings.
The genetic.
Actually,
That's the gayest argument you could make, dude.
oh, look. If you look at if you listen to the prime directive of ego utilitarianism, it's to perpetuate the better parts of your meta self. So technically, I actually favor whites over Filipinos, right? I mean, if I had
So
to
why are
choose,
you advocating against our own interest?
because look, because it's not again. Did you hear the conditions into which I made that statement?
Not in the
Only if
interest
it's
of
only if it's a zero-sum game. If I had to choose between the two, right? In the case of a non-zero, in the case of a positive-sum game, you don't have to eliminate the other or totally segregate your one group from the other.
well, I mean, technically, you don't have to, right? Like, what will happen is there'll be like what happened in ancient India. There'll be like caste systems and things like that, but. I don't think it's preferable.
Self segregation happens whether
I'm not going to endorse status policy of India. I think it's. I think if you look at the talent pool relative to their economic success, you'll see it's a failure. Right? They have the most engineers per capita, and they're fucking poor.
Well, I'm not talking about modern India. I'm talking about ancient India, and I'm not talking it from
Okay.
a strategy
No, their
sense. I'm
caste
just
system-
saying. I'm
They
just
still,
saying
they
it's
still
going
have
to
a stronger
naturally.
caste system than anyone else in the
I'm
world,
just
right?
Saying that this is going to happen. It does. No, it doesn't have the caste system anymore. I mean, there's like residual.
The economy is like martial arts, right? You want a mixed culture, right? To take the best parts of each one of the disciplines, each one of the other cultures.
Look, I can learn martial arts without having, millions of other
No,
people.
it's an analogy, faggot. It's an analogy, right? I said the economy is just like martial arts, right? They operate similarly. Obviously, you guys don't want a mixed culture.
Well, it seems that your argument ultimately comes down to if people didn't have an in-group preference, then what you're saying would make sense. But people do have an
I'm
in-group
talking about objective value, not subjective opinion. Not subjective.
Well,
it's value.
it's
objectively
objective.
have in group
You
preference.
won't have a win-win scenario when you just
Look,
start
in-group
mixing and
preference,
threatening.
I'm
People will
making a
behave
case.
emotionally.
It's objective. Most people around the world have in-group.
I'm making the case that in-group preference is going extinct. It's an emotion. It's a crude emotion.
Okay, back it up.
Probably
with
had
data.
some value in.
Show
in
me what
history.
other culture besides white culture
Do you
where it's
understand?
going.
You understand my case with in-group
Chinese don't have in-group preference.
In-group preference is a malfunction, right?
Mexicans
It's an
don't have
evolutionary
in-group
tool.
preference. You
It's
think
an
the blacks
evolutionary
don't
tool
have
that's
in-group
only
preference?
it's an evolutionary tool
But it
that's only
exists.
that's only valuable. No, it's a vestigial it's a vestigial
But it's something that
obsolescence.
people have and react upon, correct?
No, so is mental
Anything vestigial
retardation,
around
right?
here is
So
your
is
penis.
so is mental retardation, right? So are bad things that haven't gone extinct yet. But I guarantee you can logically see it's going extinct, right?
Well, there's no value to the mental.
I don't-
retardation.
You guys are the perfect case.
I don't see where it's going extinct.
It's
Yeah, if
going
anything,
extinct because
anything, it's becoming
I've
stronger.
explained why. Look. In-group preference is only value in a rivalrous environment, right? So when you have an extremely rivalrous environment and low IQ, this
You don't think we have a rivalrous environment? Because people are
you can
tribalistic?
okay. I can even provide you evidence that it's going
China's
extinct.
got a high
I can-
IQ, but still
can even
in-group
provide you-
preference.
wait.
Israel has a high IQ, but still in-group preference.
Look,
What
those are the
fuck
dumb.
you talking
These are the dumb Israelis, right? If you look,
You think,
again,
you
if you
think
look at
like
all statistical
Muslims, once they
studies,
conquer Europe,
you
are
look at
going
all
to adopt
statistical
the best
studies,
part of
racist-
Western
racist-
civilization?
there's a
Are they
strong
gonna
correlation
decide it?
between racism and stupid.
Academics supposedly have a fucking high IQ and are into identity politics.
Look again. Only in a it's a vestigial tool used in a rivalrous environment, right? You can see it's going extinct, right?
Are you gonna ever get rid of conflict?
You can look at the world now.
No. Let me ask you a question then. Are you gonna ever get rid of conflict?
Now than there was
So you're never going to stop just
1
reasserting
million
the same
years
thing as if that's proof of it.
Yeah.
20,000 years ago, even 1,000 years ago, there's less in-group preference. I guarantee you that.
What?
Do you think you're?
fuck are you
I disagree.
Really? Are you kidding me? Just like religions,
Do you think
it's
do you
more
think you'll
secular
ever
these
get rid-
days.
Do you think you'll ever get rid of conflict?
No, what the fuck no.
Then how are you ever going to get rid of these rivalries?
What are you talking? No, a rivalry situation where no, I'm no, you guys are misinterpreting what I'm saying. I don't know what
I took you verbatim there.
My argument is
Well,
that
you should repeat it over and over so
what
that'll
you're
fucking
saying.
work.
What you're
verbatim.
saying-
Wait, what did you take verbatim? What? Wait, I forgot who said what, but
You said that basically there will
I'm
be.
not gonna get. I'm not my the pathway to utopia does not get rid of rivalries in any intermediate state.
Okay, you mean more of an
There's
in-group
always going to be rivalry.
Filipinos.
What's that? People talking.
How do you get rid of biological limitation from biological creatures? It's not
Biological limitation.
Mm-hmm.
We all transform
It
into
depends,
Mr. Spock overnight and we become
It depends.
fucking like these higher beings. That's how, yeah, fucking right.
Yeah, he thinks it's just gonna happen. It's fucking stupid.
Well,
No. Look, the
His
individuals.
It's just too much fucking Star Trek.
No,
let me just- hold on. So his argument, I think, makes perfect sense if you just assume that people are all of a sudden not going to behave tribalistically and they're going to, they're not going to win. Like they're going to pursue win-win scenarios based, based not on their own tribe. And my main argument against that is like, do you really think, KK, that like if Muslims take over Europe, they're going to adopt all the best aspects of Europe, right? And combine it with theirs, and it's going to be this win-win scenario, and they'll just won't be there won't be a sort of genocide or any irrational behavior, and that somehow that's going to make the tribalism of Islam and the Arabs like go extinct when they take over and use force against people who were open and allowed them and didn't have an in-group preference. Go ahead.
Damn it! I was talking over you. I didn't hear what you said. Well, I don't know what you said. Say it again. I was talking over you. You were talking over me.
I was saying that like it seems like tribalistic people like, Arabs or Muslims, right, are like, what stops them from going and conquering people who are
How are they
open to them, and then they're not going to adopt the best memes of them.
So do they take their tribalism to an extreme and advocate for a uniformly a genetic population, a nation? Do they take tribalism to that extreme? What do you mean by tribalism?
Well,
What? Are you fucking high?
it would be more mimetic than genetic in the case of the Muslims, but yeah.
How
They
they
want to.
He's sitting back and
they don't-
playing
they don't
Twister
wanna-
while you're talking. He's not even listening to you.
They want to. They want every
Bastard.
like. Yeah, they're not like racist, so to speak, but they are like, you have to adopt Islam. We have to kill all the non-believers. And let them submit to us.
Also,
Get
so
rid of the culture.
what percentage of Islamists believe in it?
100%.
Yeah, if they didn't believe in that, then they're not Islamists.
Really? So you don't think their
Yeah,
religion
like
has
100% of
modernized?
fucking Filipinos are fucking retarded.
Every religion has modernized to some extent.
Look, if you don't believe in Sharia law, you're not a fucking Muslim by definition. So 100% of fucking Muslims.
Well, it seems like
Fucking
Islam is the one that didn't, right? And it's growing at a much faster pace than all the
No,
other
no,
ones.
that's
So
not
it
nice.
seems
Now
like
it's
it's
plastic explosive instead
evolutionary.
of fucking TNT.
I want an honest answer though. I want the percentage of people who call themselves the Nation of Islam that believe in this. They have to eliminate all other.
Islam is something totally different. Nation of Islam is a
Technically-
black national group.
Again, technically, all religions hate other religions.
Well, you're saying that like ones that have less of an in-group, ones that are modernized are going to be better, but we see that Islam is spreading far more rapidly.
It's funny
than
that you
Christianity.
mention. It's funny that you mention Nation of Islam though, because Nation of Islam is both extremist Muslim and like
I meant
racial,
Muslim. I don't know what to call them.
racial
Black
nation
I
nationalists.
meant Muslim.
You just
What?
throw out these ridiculous statements. All religions hate other religions, right? Okay, sure. But how many religions do you fucking know?
No. This is objective. This is all in the source materials. Because
So Buddhists want to
fucking their rivalry.
genocide all the other religions. They want to destroy the memetics of all other religion. That's horseshit, dude, and you know it.
No, he doesn't know it. That's a problem. He's fucking
Well, it
wrapped
seems
up in
like
his own little fucking bubble.
the ones that are right, the ones that are like tribalistic, seem to be perpetuating
I don't know if
more
that's-
successfully than the others. And it seems like a group that's totally open to another group that like, doesn't care about a win-win, like is gonna like lose and like
And if all
have their
all
meaning
religions
of
hate other
openness
religions,
destroyed.
that just shows you that in-group preference doesn't fucking go away, you idiot.
In-group preference goes away, right? I mean, there's it's crude, right? What you're supposed to do is the ego-utilitarian ethic, right? You're supposed to favor the good to yourself. That's it.
Calling it crude doesn't mean that people don't do it.
No, he guarantees it. He guarantees it.
Did I
We
fucking
got
say? Did I fucking
KK's personal guarantee
I didn't even fucking
that this
say
is true.
that.
If no one, if
I
no one
don't care
adopts this
at
strategy,
any
right?
point in time. At any point in time in history, whether it be the past, present, or future, I don't care what people are doing at that moment. I care
Well,
what.
that's why your
optimum
that's why your
strategy
philosophy is a failure.
Okay, well, I agree.
Not a
that
failure,
it would be an
because
optimum strategy.
It's forcing you
It
to
would
the
be-
optimal.
It would
It's
be an
always
optimum
selective.
strategy for people to not have
Nature is
in-group.
nature's always shaping strategy to mine. You can't escape it.
It would be a great advantage if everyone could just engage in win-win scenarios and nobody wanted to have a win-lose,
It's
right?
not. It's not
That would be
always.
So you're saying nature's always shaping stuff according to ego-utilitarianism. Any wonder the world's
I'm referring to
I would
strategy
counter that.
of
Say nature is always
of genetically
is always
purifying a nation. That's what I'm talking about.
genetic utilitarianism, not ego utilitarianism. Your memetics don't matter. Your genetics are what nature is predisposed to favor. It's genetic
I would disagree with
utilitarianism,
that.
not memetic utilitarianism.
Yeah,
I would-
that's stupid.
I would disagree with that necessarily, because you could like if you have a strict enough doctrine, right? Like you like Islam, right? You can have a conquering strategy to spread it, and it doesn't really matter the genetics of the people because it's crude enough for everybody. It's simple enough. It's parasitic. It's dangerous. It's not seeking a win-win scenario. It's not optimum, but it exists, and it seems to be evolutionarily doing pretty damn well. It seems to be conquering the people who want to see a win-win. It seems to be, imposing costs on people who are open and don't have an in-group preference. And then all that's left is people with that in-group preference, with that tribalism to fight against it. So
Well,
it
there's
seems
no
like
doubt that it's
evol-
biologically advantageous, like genetically advantageous to memetically uptake certain means, right? Like tools, right, or language. These are
Well-
things that help you biologically reproduce, even though they are memetic.
Well, look at it this way. It's if you're working as an individual, if you're atomized, deracinated to like the ultimate extent, like you'll never, even if you're like very skilled, right, and you have a very high IQ or whatever, even if you deal with a mass that has a lower IQ, if they work together, if they network and have organization over you, right, they're gonna win. Individual can't compare to a group of people that work together.
At the point where degeneracy and the sex junk and all that shit is pushed on people, memetics is a better way of passing on an ideology than genetics.
Genetics. Hello. Oh, okay. You fixed my mic. Did you fix my camera too? Look,
Fuck
genetics is obsolete
not.
technology, right?
Not yet. Not yet. It is not.
It's already obsolete.
No, it's bullshit. That's bullshit.
That's total
It's
bullshit.
already obsolete.
That's
It's
bullshit.
already obsolete
That's bullshit.
because look. Let me give you a little taste.
having a tribe allows you
How
to
much?
compete
How much
against
better?
others.
How much better would your life be, right? If you weren't
If
yeah.
we're not to that point yet, motherfucker, you always look
if-
way too
if
far.
you,
in the
no, I'm demonstrating how it's a bad, right? Just take a look at your diet. You're emotionally addicted to fucking things that taste good, right? Now, if I removed your sense of taste, how much an improvement of your life would occur at that point when you remove that emotion, that genetic tool that's obsolete? Now you use memetics, right?
Doesn't matter because
Now you
people
use
have
logic
taste.
memetics. You look at nutritional labels, you analyze the nutrition value of meals, and since everything tastes nothing, you're indifferent.
You
right?
can't tell
So
if it's
you're
poison.
fucking really healthy.
Exactly. You're an idiot.
You look good. You look sexy.
Yeah, it's an advantage until
But 3,000 years in the future, guys, we're
No,
gonna all convert into robots, and we'll be better.
well,
I'm not-
it's of an
I don't
advantage.
even want to
Do we
convert
get to wear
humans.
silver jumpsuits? I want to wear silver jumpsuits. It's
it's-
like when
it's
fucking everyone's wearing the same.
The
It's
future's
actually-
gonna be
Yourself,
so
clothes
great,
will-
guys. The future's gonna be so
We'll
great.
take,
Let's not
is
think
that
about
part of
it.
their brain where they give a fuck about
It's
fashion?
advantageous until you taste something that like is obviously rotten and you don't really realize it and you get sick, or all of a sudden like food is less safe on average, and then so you have people who die off. It's not this like 100% thing. That's why evolution.
No, but you have
doesn't-
perfect information. You spend 3 hours analyzing
evolution-
nutritional fucking value of it.
Evolution
Fucking eat
tends
it.
evolution tends not to just kill off entire, like it tends to have a lot of variation in people so that if the environment changes and something's advantageous, it doesn't
Well,
kill off.
I can sum up KK's like whole
Damn it!
ideology.
Stop my mic.
I can sum up KK's whole ideology in like one sentence. It's
I can do it in
mental
one word.
masturbation.
Faggotry.
It's it's mental masturbation of the. It's like, guys, can you believe how awesome it's gonna be in the future, man? It's gonna be
No,
so.
look, I'm not.
Let's never
I don't
think
even
about
want to
now.
convert
That's-
humans. I don't even want to
worry about
transition
now. Great.
humans to. I don't even want transitions humans to machines. I don't want cyborgs. I don't want fucking things where we have cybernetic
See, I
implants.
knew you
don't
couldn't sum
think
it up
in
in
the-
one sentence because you wouldn't be able to
I
get a
just
sentence
want
out
to
with
dump
fucking
the
KK
fucking
talking. So I
mechanical.
summed it up in one word.
You don't think of the now, motherfucker, ever.
What are you talking about? I don't think about the now. What are you talking about?
You're
Exactly
always
what I
making
said.
analogies.
anytime I give you a
I didn't say I want to do it.
scenario,
I'm not concerned with that, really.
anytime I give you a scenario
You
in
just
which
proved
the
my
time is
point.
now, anytime I give you a scenario in which I'm talking about right now and ask you what does your ideology say about this, you say, well, in the future, once people have changed X.
No. Why
And-
do you guys
And I suspect that when
You
you
just
suck nigger dick,
falsely
you don't even
imply-
check the nutritional.
You just said I'm not concerned about right now. You just fucking said that. So you're
Fuck
proving
you,
your point.
KK. You're
Well, I said that. Did I say
Yeah,
that?
you did. Yeah, you did.
I'm not concerned with now.
Yeah.
saying.
Go rewind it. You exactly said that.
I did not say that. Wait,
Yeah, you
what context did I say that? I don't
You
even know
said
what I
that.
said. What?
You didn't say what you just said.
In what context?
Okay.
In what
This
context?
conversation is going to be very difficult then.
All right,
What-
guys, we've reached the 2-hour mark. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. This is the Friday Night Chat. We do this every Friday night. We're going to be doing it in this channel for a few months, it seems, because of the content strike against us. Please sub to this channel and, of course, our main channel. We're doing the 1433 subscriber giveaway. So please, of course, sub to this channel and our main channel for.
And would you again reiterate what this channel is if they find it on
this
our main?
is this is the Friday. Let's see. This would be our second channel. If you go to our main channel, it's linked in there,
Okay.
so you should be able to find it. And when we post this to the main channel, we'll include a link to where we're doing the live streams at from now on.
Cool.
All right.
The totally unexpected strike that we got, by the way.
Okay. So, not an argument. Any closing thoughts?
Nothing particular today.
All right. Kel.
I don't live in KK's glorious future yet, so I don't want to spurg about.
Isn't it a shame though? Damn. I just wish I'd get an engineering degree. Iron Man, what's up, man?
Yeah, I just want to say that Dick, and he's a total spurg, and fucking he should die.
All right. Those are pertinent points. KK.
Yeah, look, I mean, immigrants aren't limited to the amount of tax revenue they bring in. I mean, they bring about more benefits from interacting with them through trade, right? They make the entire economy function better by, I think I read somewhere around 2%. I don't think this is included in this study, right?
Yep.
So if you take 2% of GDP, right, and see all the and
Yep,
see if
words.
it cancels out, see if it actually more than cancels out by multiples their deficit in tax revenue. And I
Words.
think that it's shut.
Yeah, those are words.
We're-
All right.
we're just
Risky,
trying to
what's up, man?
Trying to wrap it up, bud.
Closing thoughts, Risky.
I don't know. Fucking. Yeah, I can't think of anything.
All right, Zach.
Just make sure and subscribe onto our other channel. We got a 1488 or 33 giveaway.
Are you doing the 1488 giveaway? Because I wasn't aware of that one.
Yep. There's 55 more than our 33.
All right. And with that,